Today we're going to be resizing a gold ring and replacing the stone. It was bought by one of my clients, I think over a year ago, and I'm not sure what they've done to the stone, but it looks like somebody might have got a bit hungry. I've never seen this happen before, so that's what we'll be doing today. The start to 2025 has been interesting to say the least. The Christmas period made me feel so burnt out. When Rachel Reeves delivered the budget in the autumn, I noticed a significant drop in sales and people reaching out for commissions. So, a lot of the money that I made over the Christmas period was sort of filling a deficit from those earlier autumn months, and I feel like I worked so hard for such a little reward. So coming back in January, I just said to myself, I'm gonna take it slower and not put all of these extra demands on myself, and ease back in, which I've been doing. So I haven't made any YouTube videos, I haven't posted anything on my Substack. I've actually gone cold turkey on social media. I've completely got it off of my phone. Even Pinterest has gone from my phone. I've read so many more books and I've written so many more words, ideas for stories, spending time in here, which I think has been really good. I've done a couple of really nice commissions over January. This is this gorgeous blue stone monochromatic ring, and it was for a client in Australia. She's going to give it to her partner on his birthday. It's got 4 stones of all different colours, and it's really at the very far reaches of my sort of technical skill set, but I'm so happy with how it came out, and I'm so excited to make a few more things like that this year. So let's resize and reset this gorgeous ring. You can see on the mandrel that the ring is currently a P and a Q, and we are sizing it down to an L. So the first thing I'm doing is checking the placement of the hallmark. In the UK, we have to get things hallmarked. And the last thing I want to do is cut it out and then have to get it hallmarked again, because in the wise words of Steve Martin, it costs money. Now, the hallmark is on the side, so I'm going to use my saw frame and cut clean through the back of the band. Now, if the stone wasn't so badly damaged, then I would have removed it first before cutting the back open. But seeing as it can't be salvaged, I will let the heat from the blowtorch loosen it when I resolder the ring. Taking my half-round nose pliers with the rounded side on the inside of the band, I will bend the metal back into its new shape. At this stage, I want to remove little bits of gold so that I don't make the ring too small too quickly. I know I always use this analogy, but making jewellery is like cutting your hair after a whole bottle of wine in the dark, and you need to take it so slow. Little bits, because you can't put it back. So let's see what size we're at now. It's a size M, and we need to take it a tiny bit smaller. So let's check the size again. Because the ring is not perfectly round at this stage, I'm going to make it as round as I can before I check the size again, just to give me the most accurate reading of the size. So this ring is now a size K, and I'm really happy that once it's completely rounded out and polished and filed and everything, it will be a perfect size L. To make the cut between the 2 sides of the ring perfect for soldering, we want them to be perfectly straight. So I'm going to run my flat-sided needle file, sorry I don't know the technical name for this one, between the 2 sides, and you're just using the sort of pressure, or I'm going to call it friction, but I'm not sure that's quite right, of both sides fitting against your file, so they kind of guide you into making that straight line. Please remember, your solder join should not let any light through before it's been soldered. let alone afterwards. Now we're at the soldering station, the jewellery station that is known to break hearts and make grown men's knees tremble with the precision required. Using a paintbrush, we're going to apply a very small amount of flux to the cut and surrounding area. Because the 9-carat solder is so small and so fiddly, I'm using my blowtorch to help adhere the solder to the flux to the right place on the ring. When I heat it up, it doesn't just fly away and I never find that 9-carat solder ever again. For this project, I'm using 9-carat hard. I would recommend, if you're looking to invest in 9-carat solder, to buy hard, because you should only ever need easy or medium solder if you're doing a complicated project with multiple solder joins. The rest of the time, you only need hard solder. So now we wait for the magic pickle to do its work. It's just gonna remove all of that fire scale, that blackness from the gold, and make it, yeah, just clean it up. The product I use is called Safety Pickle, Pickleen, which is also what I call my cat when she's being cute. Her name's Little Pickle. Sweet, sweet Pickle. I have never met such a purring cat before. You look at her and she starts purring. My heart melts. I found out something quite devastating yesterday. Scotland is considering banning cat ownership. So if you do have a cat, you would have to keep it inside because they kill too many animals out in the nature. And I just think it's so mind-boggling, isn't it, that human beings have made the natural world totally uninhabitable for the right number of animals to balance the ecosystem, to maintain diversity. So what do? Oh, sorry, your cat will never be allowed outside ever again. That and a few other things that are going on in my life at the moment really are making me think of going back to England. I terribly miss my family. I've been up here for 3 years now, and I have made something amazing. I'm so proud of what I've done with the business, and you know, making a group of friends up here without knowing anybody beforehand. I'm proud of myself for doing that, but a huge part of me is so ready to go home. I miss the seaside. I miss the rolling hills. I don't leave Glasgow because I don't have a car. And I don't know, it's always a bit rainy and a bit dreary. I don't prioritise going outside up here, whereas I really do prioritise back home. And I could go to my parents for Sunday lunch. They could come to mine for Sunday lunch. Because I feel like I haven't spent any time with them for years now. And this is what we do whilst we wait. We contemplate. Had to put my coat on because it's chilly in here. Right, the ring is now soldered. So the next step is to make it perfectly round again because it's a little bit misshapen. So I've got my mandrel and I've got my rawhide mallet. This is just going to do sort of the least damage to the ring. And we'll tap it, and then we'll turn the ring upside down and we'll tap it again the other way. That just stops, because the mandrel is obviously tapered, so we're just preventing the ring from becoming tapered. Using a cut zero file, I'm removing any trace of the solder join, whilst also making sure I keep the organic texture and the original proportions of the ring intact. It's easy to overfile, like it was easy to overcut earlier, so take your time, breathe. Once I'm happy with the filing, I move up to a needle file, which is cut 2, and this means that the file marks are even smaller, so it will remove the bigger file marks and leave you with a smoother surface. And once I am yet again happy, I will use my buff stick, which is a glorified wooden stick with 800 grit sandpaper wrapped around it. Taking my sweet time, I'll buff up any of the remaining file marks and leave the ring in a really nice place to complete my final polish. Oh my days, the sun has come out. The last couple of days have been so dreary. That's good, that's good. Okay. Now that that's done, I'm gonna set the stone because I can then just polish up everything in one go. So we need the stone. Earlier in the week, I sent my client a picture of all the stones I had in stock, and this is the one that they chose. They've gone for a milky white one, which has a beautiful flash of red across the front. At the moment, the inside of the bezel has some fire scales, so I'm going to remove it using a ball burr on my pendant drill. I'm not really taking away any gold here. The setting is the right size for the stone. I just want to get rid of that black. Once I've done this, I use a soft brush to make sure there's no gold dust in the bezel, because when we set the stone in, any gold that gets in the way can cause the stone to crack. I'm using my ring clamp to hold the ring securely whilst I set the stone using a hammerhead piece on the end of my pendant drill. It's essentially a miniature pneumatic drill, and it will fold and push the metal gently around the stone and save my elbow joints. If you use one of these, please be careful and do not hit the stone with the hammerhead, or else one more beautiful thing in this world will cease to exist. And we know this planet needs to keep as many beautiful things as it can. Once I'm happy the stone is secure in its new home, I'm ready to do the final polish. I'm using blue then pink silicone discs because the buff stick has already brought up the finish enough that I can just jump straight to them. And then finally you'll see me use the green rouge, which is to get the mirror shine. Attention to detail is really important here. Making sure each level of polishing is completed to perfection is laborious but so worth it. Training yourself to do so early on will help you to develop less bad habits. So buy a loupe and inspect every nook and cranny of your hard work. Inspect it twice before you decide to move up to that next level of polishing. Because opals are such a soft stone with a high water content, we cannot under any circumstances risk cleaning them in the ultrasonic, as it can damage the stone. Instead, a little bit of dish soap on a soft bristled toothbrush and a little bit of elbow grease will do the trick just fine.